Hi, Molly Claire. I am so glad you asked me this question. I am body language is my favorite thing to talk about. So, my hunch is that the first step with your son is not giving him more tips, but helping him understand that the tips you're already giving him will actually make a difference, right? So much of what I'm teaching in my classes are things really that our grandmother told us to do, but I'm helping people understand why they're actually worth doing, why they will actually make a difference, and that helps my clients actually do those things, and then they see big changes. So I pulled up an example. I looked through my database of different things that I talk about and came up with an example that I think will really ring true for your son. They did a study in 2013 at Hanover University of Music in Germany. And what they did is they looked at, does how a violinist take the stage affect how his performance is reviewed by competition judges? So what they did is they had hundreds, I think they used 200 participants or some crazy number like that. And they viewed them getting on stage, walking to their place on the stage, bowing to the audience, sitting down, tuning their instrument, and then playing the piece. And then they took those videos and chopped off the part where they actually play the piece. So when they drew that first note, they cut off the videos. And then they gave those performance judges, they gave those tapes to judges to rank their performance and indicate how excited they were to hear the rest of the performance. And what they found is that if the participant, regardless of their training level, the number of years of formal training, the number of performances they've done, irregardless of that, if they took the stage using confident body language, the body language that you're already telling your son about, then 92% of the judges wanted to see more of that person's performance. And if they took the stage poorly, if they exhibited low confidence body language, if they were hunched over, only 26% of the judges wanted to see more of the performance, even if that person had years of training and competed all the time at very high levels. That what mattered was that first impression of how they took the stage. So there is a second study that was done that even went further and showed that how that performer took the stage, that impression stayed with the judges, and the rankings, seeing the performance and not seeing the performance, were very, very similar. That how we take the stage in events matters almost as much as how we play once we get there. Now, how does that relate to social interactions in high school? Well, your performance is really everything that you say once you've walked into the interaction. And so many times as we get nervous and we're feeling low confident, we worry about saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing. And what I have to offer is, if you take the stage well, if you enter your social interactions well, you're cueing to people that you're confident, and they will treat you as confident. And then it's like an upward spiral. Everything is easier. So the other thing I wanted to offer is some visual images, because we tell our children, I tell my clients things like have good posture, stand up straight, and it's a little bit vague. What does that really mean? So what's useful to my clients is for them to come up with an image that helps them think of someone that they want to emulate. So sometimes we talk about, it's as true in the natural world as it is in the human world. So sometimes I talk about animals that look really confident, and then I'll ask my audiences to name an animal that looks really confident, and oftentimes they'll think of like a bear. You know how bears get big and broad when they stand up on their hind legs. And when I ask about low confidence body language, they'll say a bunny, and they'll kind of cower in like a bunny does. And the problem is if you take that cowering, low confidence body language and then you just put a phone in that bunny's hand, that's how most of us walk around all the time. And what we don't realize is we're actually cueing to the other person that we're nervous. So another example that I use, if the animal kingdom doesn't land, is I'll talk about body language in athletes. How, if you think back to the 2016 Olympics, the winners crossing, like if you think of all those track and field events, the winners coming across the tape and their arms are in the air and they're so excited to be done and they know that they've done really well. This is winner body language. And the people who come in the later places or, tripped on the track, oftentimes they'll crumple on the ground. And that's defeat. We use not the term loser body language, but defeated body language. And in life, we like to associate with people that are winners. And so that broad, confident, athlete coming across the finish line, that's the body language we want to emulate. I'm going to give you a third example because it's all about finding the things that land with that particular child. And so perhaps your son wants to look at how the great stage performers that he watches with his musical, training, like how they look on stage. And that's how he wants to be in his everyday life, that big, broad, open, space-claiming behavior. That's what he wants to do. So give that a shot. And once he's got that mastered, circle back around and we'll see what else we can do. All right. Bye, Molly Claire.